Hello guys, this is going to be a lab demo session conducted by Frank. Frank is one of the SMEs who kind of takes care of the lab assessments for the entire world. Frank, over to you to kind of give you a brief introduction and then slowly take us through the lab demo.
Perfect. Hello, my friends. Good morning. Well, hello everybody. For you, it's good afternoon. Yeah, good evening. But well, first of all, let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Frank Gonzalez. I'm living in Mexico and work for CXA Academy. I've been teaching the CXA Academy team in Americas for the last 4 years. Part of one of my role responsibilities is, well, the design of lab activities, the design of exams, and also teaching the CCNA level and also CCNP level and some other professional trainings. Currently, I'm able to deliver kind of 29 different trainings, but that's why I'm playing the role of technical lead here in Mexico. Right now, I have the opportunity to work with some other regions, not only Bangalore. I have the opportunity to interact also with Krakow, United Kingdom. Yeah, that's part of my new responsibilities, and that's why for me it's also a pleasure to have the opportunity to work together again. We have the opportunity to test the last year this kind of training. Right now we enhance a little bit this training, so that's why we're going to start with a lab demo. What we are expecting here in this session, well, in this session we want to create the lab environment. We want to perform the lab setup. Then I'm going to show you how to collect the information, because at the end you need to collect some information and you need to send it to me in order that you will be evaluated for the lab activity that you want to have for next week. And at the same time, we're going to verify if you have any kind of question or whatever. Feel free to contact me. I want to share my credentials. I want to share my Cisco ID in order that you have the opportunity to contact me. Any kind of question, any kind of related to technical thing question is part of my responsibilities to help. Is that okay? So please feel free to contact me. Any kind of thing. If you need to verify some other information related to any of the topics related to your CCNA. For example, if you say, hey, Frank, I have some complicated things with VLANs, you are able to explain to me what happened with the trunks, spanning tree, net, network, and networking and installation, WAN connectivity, VPN, dynamic multi-point VPN, any kind of topic, what happened with virtualization, what happened with the DNA center, SD1, whatever, that's my responsibility. So please feel free to contact me. If I have the opportunity later because right now the pandemic, I'm not having the opportunity to move outside to Mexico, but well, probably later we're going to have the opportunity to have an in-person meeting or in-person classroom teaching, and probably I'm going to have the opportunity to interact with you more often. In this scenario, I'm also excited to explain to you whatever you want to, whatever kind of question that you have. For example, if you say, hey, Frank, could you please help me with this topic? I'm having some issues with this information. Feel free to contact me, and whatever you want, I will be there for you. Is that okay, my friends? So I'm not having the opportunity to training you, but I'm going to have the opportunity to teach some specific things, some specific topics, and we're going to collaborate together in some activities. Well, the first activity that we're going to have, that will be our lab challenge, and the lab challenge has the main objective of validate all your knowledge. You already take the CCNA training, you already have some networking fundamentals training, so we're going to have a lab activity in order that you are able to demonstrate that you understand all the topics and how you implement a network from the very beginning and troubleshoot during the process of configuration all the issues that you are getting. For example, you start the network from the very beginning, you're going to create an IP addressing scheme. Later, you're going to install some layer 2 protocols like spanning tree, like VLANs, like Ether channel, like trunks, like a manual pruning, like BTP, whatever, router and stick later. And then, for example, you're going to implement some layer 3, activities, some layer 3 protocols like DHCP. Then we're going to have some OSPF, EARP, OSPF v3, EARP for IPv6. Then we're going to have the opportunity to interact, for example, with protocols like static routing, dynamic routing. We're going to select the best path. We're going to select some IP services. We're going to implement a DHCP. We're going to implement HSRP, networking address translation. So the lab guide is a couple of things, or is a bunch of things that we can put it all together in a network, and how to interact with the current device, and how we're going to implement it in a real operative network. That's the main goal of this activity. Today we're going to have a demo. Today everybody will going to be able to set up their own lab, and by the end you are able to practice. Probably so many of you already have a lab environment. Probably many of you already have a lab environment. I'm going to start sharing my screen later. I'm going to set up, I'm going to request that someone of you share your screen with us. And the main objective that somebody else share the screen with us is because you're going to start the setup from the very beginning, since the rush. So as soon as you're going to start this, the setup from the lab from scratch, what we're going to do, we're going to record all this process in order that everybody has the opportunity to create their own lab environment. Probably at this moment, many of you already have a lab environment. If you are using EvenG, for me, it's fantastic. But if you don't have the opportunity to set up the EvenG, or you don't have this virtual machine, I shared it to you yesterday. Yesterday, I shared a link in order that everybody has the opportunity to download the virtual machine. Is that correct? So please confirm if you already download your virtual machine and everything is fantastic. Please on the chat panel say yes. Yes, I already download. It's a 1.8 gigs virtual machine. Perfect. That's the only thing that we're going to need. That's the only thing that we're going to need. The virtual machine. Perfect. 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 Yes. Everybody. Yes. Setup is done. Perfect. 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 Okay. Download those instructions. Perfect. I have a downloaded virtual machine. Excellent. Today, before we're going to start downloading another thing. Probably should be necessary that we restart our computer a couple of times. Meanwhile, we are having the setup. Don't worry about it, because as soon as I'm the host and Prashad is here with us, helping us, what's going to happen? Continue with the virtualized VTX PT. Perfect. Just getting an error. Open the virtual machine. Don't worry. I'm going to help into you how what we're going to do in that way, Satish. Don't worry. People who is having some issues, probably we want to change it for another virtual machine or for another platform. Don't worry, don't worry. The important thing here is everybody should have the opportunity to download the virtual machine, because this is the heaviest file. This is the important thing. Okay, let's going to start from scratch. Let's going to start the installation from the virtual machine from the scratch. And okay, Swati, you say I don't get the link. Don't worry. Let me share the link again for you. But is the important thing here is the people who don't have the link, or the people who, oh my God, let me refresh here my webpage so quickly. The people who is going to start the download it right now, okay? People who are going to start the download at this moment, probably you're going to have a problem, okay? We will going to have a problem. Okay, this is the link. I'm going to put it in the chat, the link again, in order that you are able to download it again if you need it, okay, if you need it. But be careful, because as soon as it's a big file, it's going to take a while to download. Is that okay? That's why I always prefer to download it before. But well, if you are not able to, or you are not having the opportunity to download it before, please start to download it now, and cross your fingers in order that we're going to verify that, or we're expecting that the download happens so fast. Is that okay? At the same time, I'm going to start I'm going to send in another link for everybody. This is the link for everybody. That link going to include the lab topology that we're going to use today in order to import it, export it, or whatever. I know that many of you probably at this moment feel comfortable with your knowledge that you already have or that you already gained in your lab environment, because probably many of you already have the lab environment. Many of you already have a EVE-NG lab environment. Okay, I don't know how to make a quick survey. Oh my God, I don't know how to perform a quick survey about the lab environment, because probably many of you, it's not necessary that you install it again because you already have something. It could be possible that you raise your hand, only to verify, perfect, only to verify that if you already have an EVE-NG platform, please raise your hand. Okay, excellent, my friends. Excellent, excellent. Almost all of you. Probably we're going to have, or we are able to. Okay. So we're going to, oh my God, everybody has it. Everybody has it. Just a couple of you don't have it. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, so I want to work right now with people who is not having any EVE-NG platform, and the people who already have an EVE-NG platform or virtualized environment. Okay, don't worry about it, because if you already have it, we can use that one. Not was able to download the platform, try many times, but failed towards the end. Okay, Deepa, don't worry, Deepa. I want to verify how can I help you. Don't worry. The important thing today is everybody should have a EVE-NG platform. And if so for some reason my platform is not working in yours, probably we are able to get the same platform that somebody else or some of the some of your classmates already have it. Yeah, don't worry, Edwin. We already download the file, and that's all the thing that I need. Download the file. Okay, my friends, many of you already have an EVE-NG platform. Excellent. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So I'm going to work with people who is not having anything. Let me see. Because I'm worried about the people who is not having anything. Remember, if you already have an EVE-NG platform, you have a virtualized lab environment, yeah, installing your system. If you already have a virtualized environment installing your system, raise your hand, because I'm worried about the people who is not having anything. Don't worry about it. Let's start to verify. Let me identify. It's almost the people. It's almost the half. A lot of people already have an EVE-NG. Excellent. How do you get that virtual machine? That's important, because I don't understand why someone of you already have it and the other do not have it. Okay, you guys get the link now from the chat. EVE-NG. The virtual machine is called EVE-NG. Let me show you a quick demo. Let me show you the quick environment. After that, we're going to create a second survey, a quick survey again. And verify what happened. Is that okay, my friends? So don't worry about it. Let's do it again. Okay, let's going to start here. EVE-NG. Well, remember, probably you are expecting some issues. I don't know why you are expecting some issues. Important things that we need to consider here for EVE-NG. Important things, when you download the file, my recommendation is it's not necessary that you are connecting into the VPN. Is that okay? If you connect to the VPN, probably your network performance is going to decrement and you are not going to have a great experience. My recommendation is disconnect from your VPN. It's not necessary that you are connected into your VPN in order to download the file. It's a 1.8 gig file, so How we're going to set up Danish? This is the thing that I'm going to explain today. Okay, don't worry. This is the thing that I want to explain today. Okay, let me show you so quickly a demo, and then we're going to start the setup. Perfect. Very good. Okay. People who already have an EVE-NG, people who already have an EVE-NG environment, it's not necessary that you do something. You can use your already EVE-NG environment. Is that okay? If you already have a virtualized environment to create lab activities, it's not necessary that you install this environment. Who is going to install it? Only people who is having issues, only people who don't have any other tool to work. People who is having issues with the VMware, don't worry, I have a second option, and I'm going to show you how to use the second option, okay? Don't worry. Probably the most difficult thing in this session is the standardization process, because at the end of today, everybody should have the a virtual lab, or everybody should have a virtual lab. Okay, Nipun. Do we need VirtualBox? VirtualBox is the second option. The first option should be VMware Player. Is that okay? But you can use either VirtualBox if you feel more comfortable with VirtualBox. VirtualBox is was developed by Oracle. Meanwhile, VMware was developed by VMware. Okay, the VMware Player. Okay, but both worked fine. And Cisco worked well. Our platform, our OVA works fine in both. I have both installed in my computer, and there's no problem. Yeah. let me show you first the environment, and later we're going to start from the scratch. Since one of your classmates is going to share your screen, anyone, if you say, hey, Frank, I want to share my screen, meanwhile I perform the setup, and meanwhile the student is performing the setup, the other has the opportunity to follow. And if for some reason we are having some issues, remember we are recording this session, okay? We are recording this session, so don't worry. Later, perfect. Let me share my screen so quickly with you. I'm going to share my screen so quickly with you. Okay, team. Let me change a little bit here the panel, because we're going to have a panel here. Let me change the panel. Excellent. And let me change the chat for here. Let me change it back to here. Okay, first of all, let me explain what's going to happen here. Yesterday, I shared with you a link in order that you are able to download from Cisco Box, that is an internal platform, that is a platform that we can use in order to share files. We have also Cisco shares, but the important thing is how heavy is the file. That is 1.8 gigs, so it's complicated. So that's why I'm using this link. The link that I use for you is already pre-shared, or I already pre-shared, and the text size is too small. Don't worry, let me do it a little bit bigger. Okay, perfect. Right now, maybe you should have a maybe you should have like a better experience. Is that okay? So what's going to happen here? The thing that's going to happen here is I share with you a link. You're going to download a zip file that is called EVE-NG CXA. Okay, this is the customer experience EVE-NG, because probably you're going to get another one. It doesn't matter which one you get. The important thing is download it and install it. Is that okay? How are we going to install it? Okay, for this virtual machine, my recommendation is you're going to use VMware Player. VMware Player, when you execute VMware Player, we're going to import our virtual machine. Yeah, let me stop it here. I'm going to show you right now. Let me stop it here. You're going to import the virtual machine. Okay. Okay, let's start from the beginning. This is the thing that we're going to do right now. I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to import the virtual machine here. And as soon as we import the virtual machine in our system, Then we're going to select the virtual machine. We're going to play the virtual machine. The virtual machine going to run, going to execute in our system, going to create a virtual IP address and a virtual connectivity, a virtual network card, and NIC card, a virtual NIC card. And after a couple of seconds, our system will going to get for everybody an IP address. Okay. Right now, the virtual machine is running. Exactly the same thing happens if you are using VMware Player or if you are using VirtualBox either. Don't worry about it. The important thing is we are not going to worry about the platform that we're going to use in order to run the virtual machine. The important thing here is the IP address that we're going to get. Everybody should get an IP address. In my system, I'm getting the IP address 192.168.129.128. Where is that IP address located, Frank? Here. Let me use a little bit the magnifier. My recommendation to interact with this virtual machine, let me show you here so quickly. Can you see it right now? I get this IP address. 192, 168, 129, 128. The important thing is the IP address that you get. That's the important thing, my friends. Okay, let me close the magnifier. Let me continue explaining here. After you get an IP address, hey, Frank, I have a problem with my VT. Don't worry, I have a problem with my VT too, because that's nowadays we have an issue with the VT because VT was designed for 32-bit system. And right now, if you have a 64-bit system, the Hyper-V is taking precedence over the VT. But don't worry about it because this is something that happened with Microsoft computers. We have the opportunity to fix it, and I already have a workaround. I'm going to show you how to fix it if you get this this error. Okay. Later, what's going to happen here? Yeah, you can continue without the virtualized VT. Probably we're going to expect here a slow connectivity process, but the Hyper-V is backing off your is pushing our backs, and don't worry, is taking precedence over the VT. Don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Don't worry. Right now, first let me introduce what is the expected thing. Okay, when you get this IP address, you need to open your Firefox. Hey, Frank, it could be possible that I open another browser? Really, yes. The answer is yes. But my recommendation is using Firefox because the setup with Firefox is easier. So, Frank, what happens if I don't have Firefox? Well, right now you have the opportunity to download and install Firefox in your computer. Okay? When you download your Firefox, then in your web browser, you want to type the IP address that you get. The IP address that you get. In my scenario, for example, the IP address that I get here, let's compare so quickly. The IP address that I get here is 192.168.129.128. So I'm going to type it here, 192.169.129.128. And immediately the system is going to run something called if. We're going to use a username and password. I'm going to share it because it's here. The username is admin and the password is tropical21 for everybody. Hey, Frank, I have another username and password because it's another virtual machine. Don't worry. Meanwhile, you have that access. It is okay for me. When you sign in, you're going to load a lab environment. Mine is different. Don't worry. Let me close the lab because this is the very beginning. From the very beginning, you're going to have something similar like this. Here, you are able to create labs. You are able to create new things. I already have a new lab created in order to demonstrate this process. And this is my discovery one. When you create a lab, then you select the lab, you click on open, and here you are able to load some routers and some switches. Let me open it again for you. I don't know what happened here. Okay, wait. Right now here, you have some routers, you have some switches that you have the opportunity to connect them, and then you are able to interact with these devices. When you run the devices, when you play the devices, this is the expected behavior. This is the thing that we're going to do right now. Okay? This is the thing that we're going to use right now. I'm going to fix it in a couple of seconds, don't worry. Perfect. At the end, For example, when you click on the router, this is something similar that we can do in Packet Tracer. Yes, this is something similar, but Packet Tracer is not is having some issues because it's an incomplete simulation. It's not bad, but it's not a powerful tool. Even G is a little bit powerful. So here, when you open the router, for example, you click enter, and then you will have the opportunity to interact with the console of this device. For example, if you click on enable, if you click show version, yeah, this is a Linux deployment, it's a simulation, but the important thing, you have the opportunity to load the whole entire system. You are not able to modify this virtual machine at this moment. The important thing is the interaction, because it's a more realistic process. If you click on the question mark, for example, you can see that we have almost all the commands that we have in a real device, almost everything. Can you see right now? For example, you can set up the host name, you can change the clock time, you can set up whatever. So the important thing that we're going to do today is set up this lab. Is that okay? Okay. I'm going to start the setup. I'm going to start the setup with someone else. First, my first question today. At this moment, please, only people, I don't want any other thing. So please, please, please be careful with the question. At this moment, please, if you already have something similar like this, if you have an environment similar like this one that I already showed for you, okay? Install in your computer, raise your hand and wait, because it's not necessary that you do something similar again, or it's not necessary that you install it again. I'm not worried about you, because you already have this activity. You already done this activity. You already have an environment similar like that. Perfect. I saw a lot of raised hands. Very good. I have a green check, Brad. Okay. I don't know if it's a raised hand or the green check is guaranteed something else. Okay. I'm not worried about the people who's having issues. I'm not worried about that. Don't worry. I cannot fix anything if everybody's speaking at the same time. Right now, I don't need red crosses. I don't need green checks. I don't need anything. The only thing that I request is a raised hand. And the raised hand is if you already have installed something similar like that. If you already have something similar like that, please wait, because it is not necessary that you install anything, because you already have a virtualized environment. How you get it? It's not important for me. The important thing is you get one. And if you are able to share with your classmates, my recommendation is share it. Share it. Help your classmates. Okay. Right now, we have almost 50. Correct, correct, Alina. The credentials should be admin and tropical 21. Correct, tropical 21. Perfect. Everything in lower cases. Okay, now I want to work with somebody else. I want to stop sharing my screen. And I want to start the setup for the rest of the people. I want to start the setup from the scratch. Is that okay? So please, if you don't have a raised hand, that means I don't have an environment similar like you, Frank. I'm not able to load something similar like that one. The process that you want to follow is this one. Okay, GNS3, that's not going to work. I'm not need GNS3. I don't need Packet Tracer. I don't need any other. I don't need Bureau. I don't need anything. I want to use EvenG because all my lab is designed for EvenG. Is that okay? GNS3 do not going to support everything. GNS3 going to consume a lot of resources, and GNS3 is not a Cisco validated tool. Be careful. Is that okay? I'm going to show you how to install it. Please follow the next instructions. If you are having some issues, I'm going to resolve the issues at the end. Is that okay? I'm going to start the setup from the lab, from the very beginning, since the very beginning, in order that everybody is able to log into the lab. Is that okay? So don't worry. Frank, I'm having issues. I'm having issues with my virtualize. I'm having issues with whatever. If you're having issues, I'm going to resolve it later. We're going to have 1 week to resolve the issues. So, hey, Frank, could you please help me to resolve? But right now, I'm going to attend just some specific people, because if we try to resolve everything here right now, I only have 3 hours. I'm not going to spend the 3 hours troubleshooting. I'm going to spend the 3 hours showing to you how you want to do what we're going to do. Is that okay? So, okay, if you raise your hand, because my question, and I'm assuming my English is so clear, because in order to, my raised hand was, you always raise your hand if you have something similar like me. If you already are able to open up EVNG platform, and in that EVNG platform, you are able to load some routers, some switches, and you have the opportunity to import and export some lab topologies, because today we're going to export a lab topology and lab topology. Is that okay? I'm not going to explain anything right now. I'm going to use one of the students' computer, and I'm going to teach you how to implement this lab, how to install the lab since the very beginning. Is that okay? Okay. From people who is not having a raised hand, please give me a green check. Give me a green check if you are able to share your screen with us, and I'm going to teach you, and everybody will follow us in order to install the EVNG platform. Is that okay? If you give me the green check and you say, hey, Frank, I want to share my screen, I want to install the system since the very beginning with you, please use my computer. Yeah, I want to share my screen. Okay. Very good. Okay. Okay. Hyant Dewani, you're going to share your screen with us. Let me find yourself. Let me find it. And perfect. Okay, right now I make to you the panelists. Right now you are panelists. I'm going to give you the role of presenter, and please share your screen with us. Yeah, share your screen with us, and we're going to perform the setup from the very beginning for the lab environment. People who is having some issues, people who is not having a lab platform or whatever, they're going to follow this process. Okay, my friend, you already have it. You already have it something. High-end, you already have the EVNG installed in your system. I need somebody that don't have anything installed, because I want to install it from the scratch, from the very beginning. Sorry, High-end, you are not able to share your screen with us. Sorry, my friend, because you already have it. This is the second step. That's the second step. Okay, so beneath, they say, I will share my screen. Perfect, beneath. Let me find you and change it. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you here. Don't worry. Let me change the role of presenter. Okay. Let me find you, my friend. Okay, they say, beneath, they say, I will share my screen. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Okay, beneath. So please share your screen with us. I'm going to start the setup from the very beginning. And we're going to work together. If you are having some issues, if you are having some problems, if you don't have anything installed in your system, this is a process that you need to follow in order to install from the very beginning. Also, at the end, I will share some extra activities with you. Okay, perfect. First of all, my friend, excellent. First of all, in order to run the EVNG, we need a platform. So please go to, please in your web browser, go to VMware and download the VMware Workstation. If you don't already download the VMware Workstation, please download it. Okay, you already downloaded it. Excellent. Please open the VMware Workstation player. The important thing is go to the VMware Workstation player. Okay, my friend, you already have a virtual machine. Don't worry. Let's do the next thing. Okay. In order that we are able to import our virtual machine or install our virtual machine, yeah. Could you please go to the VMware Workstation player web page? We need. So please close the VMware Workstation. Close it. In your web browser, go to the VMware Workstation player web page. Open the VMware Workstation player web page because this is the important thing. Excellent. Just click enter. Okay. Perfect. If you can see here, my friends, you can see here, my friends, when you go to the VMware Workstation player, you are able to download the newest version. In order to download the newest version, please scroll up a little bit, my friend. Please follow the instructions. If you are not able to follow the instructions, please stop sharing the screen. Okay? Please follow the instructions because we are teaching everybody. Please scroll up a little bit. When you are in the VMware Workstation player, you have different options. You have the cloud, solution, product, support, service, and downloads. Is that okay? You are able to click on downloads at the top, or if you scroll down a little bit, they say try Workstation Player 16 for Windows or for Linux. I'm assuming that you already have Windows in your computer. So please, when you scroll down, you can see try a Workstation 16 player for Windows. Click on it, please. Click on it. And you're going to see download now. Download it, my friend. Perfect. Thank you, Vinit. Is that okay? When you click on download, a new web page should be open. Or if you have a download system or a download manager, immediately the system should start the downloading process like Vinit computer. Can you see right now? Vinit computer is downloaded. It's not a heaviest file. It's surrounded about 215 megs. So it's going to take in a while, but it's really is so faster. Okay. Wait a little bit. Wait a little bit. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to start from the scratch. We're going to start from since the very beginning because probably someone of you already do not have VMware Workstation player. Okay. So please, right now, in your system, my friends. So please, right now, in order to verify, if you already download VMware Workstation player, please give me a green check or raise your hand into the system in order to identify that everybody is great. Everybody is fantastic. Perfect. I see a lot of raised hands right now. I see a lot of green checks right now. I see a lot of things. Perfect. That's fantastic. That's the way that we want to work. We're going to work all together at the same time. And you see right now, it's taking a while, but not too much. But not too much. People who is not raising the hand, please download the VMware player. Excellent. Okay, Vinith, right now they say show in folder. Please go to the download process and install the VMware player. Hey, Frank, I already have installed it. Don't worry, install it again. The important thing that I want to demonstrate is what is the things that, or what is the process that we're going to follow. Okay. Perfect. Download it. Excellent. When you install it, when you install or when you are installing the VMware Workstation Player, probably should be necessary that you restart your computer. If you need to restart your computer, do it right now. Okay? Do it right now. Hey Frank, but I'm going to miss this recording. Don't worry, that's why we are recording this session. The important thing is what's going to happen during the installation process. First, we're going to select next. This is the important thing. This is the thing that I'm going to demonstrate. We're going to accept the agreement. Excellent. We're going to click next. Perfect. If you want to enhance your keyboard, you are able to install it. It's only going to add 10 more megs. You have the opportunity to check on that feature where say enhance keyboard driver. Put the check on it. Don't worry about it. Excellent. Click on next. If you follow the process, this is almost a guarantee that you don't have any kind of issues. Please verify that you have the check for product updates and startup and join the VMware Customer Experience program. Give the checks of both and click next. And verify that you will add a desktop shortcut and a startup menus program folder and click next. And right now your installation should happen. In this scenario, as soon as Vinit already have the VMware Workstation Player, Vinit going to perform the upgrade. So in your system, we're going to say install. Here we're going to click on upgrade. Upgrade it, please, Vinit. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while, but this is a process that everybody should follow. Okay. Hey Frank, I'm remain downloading. Download your VMware Workstation Player and running. Workstation Player is for free. It's for free. Okay, this is exactly the process that everybody should follow from the very beginning, since the installation from the VMware Workstation Player, since this thing is happening. Is that okay? If you follow these instructions, you are not going to have any problem. Any problem. Okay? Don't worry about it. It's taking a while. Hey Frank, my computer is requesting that I restart it. Restart it. I'm gonna wait, and don't worry. You are able to see the recording later. But the important thing is right now, install the VMware player, install the lab environment. If you follow these instructions, you don't going to have any problem. Hey Frank, I remain having issues with my Intel VT or whatever. I'm going to teach you how, and I'm going to share some extra videos at the end. What's going to happen? When you finish the installation, a new icon in your desktop, can you see right now? A new icon in your desktop that is a VMware Workstation Player will be created. And this is a good sign. That's a good thing. So that means we're going to use it. Okay. When you finish the installation and you run the VMware Workstation Player, probably the VMware Workstation Player, they say, would you like to install a license or you want to use something called non-commercial use? Click on non-commercial use and you want to see, are able to use it for free. Is that correct? That will be for free. That will be for free. Non-commercial use. Perfect. It's just taking a while right now. Perfect. They say finish, and that's all. Click on finish, and that's all. You must restart your computer. You must restart your computer. it is important that you really restart your computer. So beneath, please restart your computer, my friend. Please restart your computer and rejoin into the session. And don't worry, I'm gonna wait. Meanwhile, your computer is restarting. And as soon as you restart your computer, because it's mandatory that we restart the computer, and we're going to, you will be able to share your screen with us again and continue with the recording. You are agreeing with Beneath? Did I explain correctly that process? So please click on yes. I'm going to wait until your computer restart. And when your computer restart, please rejoin into the session. You say, Frank, I'm here again, and I will share and I will give you the role of presenter again, and you remain sharing your screen because we are recording everything from your computer. Is that correct? Perfect, Beneath. So please restart. Don't worry, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Hey, my friends. Hey, Frank, I need to restart it too. If your computer requested right now is the opportunity to do it. That's why we are everybody do it at the same time. Everybody we're doing at the same time. Okay? Perfect. So Beneath, please restart your computer. We're going to wait. Don't worry, you are able to rejoin into the session because we are not having any kind of issues. Meanwhile, Beneath is restarting your computer. If someone else have some issue, just please put it into, if doesn't ask to restart, don't worry. If doesn't ask to restart, do not restart it. But I'm worried about it because it's mandatory that your computer say restart. It's mandatory. Every single time that we install the VMware player, your computer require a restarting process. But if you, at this moment it's not sending the restart and you install it everything, I'm not worried about. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Critica, Perma. Okay. Meanwhile, Beneath is restarting his computer. If somebody else needs some extra support, or you are one step ahead or whatever, and you need some extra support, please put it into the chat and and share your screen with me, and I want to help you. Okay. Don't worry, we don't going to need Wireshark right now, Ria. Don't worry, we don't going to need Wireshark right now at this moment, Ria. The Wireshark implementation is, I don't know what is, I don't know why it's having some issues. That issues is always happen when we have Windows in the newest version, because the update that comes from 2020, if you have the Windows in the release 2020, in August 2020, the last release, we are always having some issues with Wireshark. So don't worry about the Wireshark at this moment. Sorry about it. Yeah, but it's an expected thing. Okay, Ria. Somebody else needs some extra support. Somebody else needs something. Want to? Hey, Frank, I have an error. I have a mistake. Meanwhile, Beneath is restarting. Able to connect the ports on the routers in EVE-NG. Okay. Perfect, Beneath. I'm back. Let's go to, let's find Beneath. And Beneath say, hey, I'm back. Let me give the Beneath, let me give to Beneath, then the panelists. Perfect. If you are having some issues, my recommendation is remove, reinstall, remove everything from your computer and install it again. Okay, Beneath, right now. Perfect, my friend. Welcome back. At this moment, Beneath, please open your VMware Workstation player. Excellent. And right now, we're going to have this environment. We need to open a virtual machine. We're going to click on open the virtual machine. But my recommendation, before you click on open the virtual machine, my recommendation is from the file that I share with you, that say the EVE-NG, the file that you downloaded yesterday, extract all the files into a folder. put all the files into a folder, extract all of them, move it to a specific location, or copy into a specific location, or put it in a specific location, and then extract the files. Internally into the files, you're going to find a lot of things, not just the lab activity, not just the lab thing. That's the important thing that I want to show you. Is that okay? And probably many of you already start the setup, because internally in this folder, internally into this folder, you find, internally into this folder, you find the next process. You will find the next process. Just give a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, it's extracting. Meanwhile, it's putting into the folder. I'm assuming that you're extracted here in a specific place. Internally in that folder, please click on the folder. You will find here a lot of things. You will find the EVNG CXA V1 OVA file. Can you see right now? This is the virtual machine. Then you're going to have the install SD1. The SD1 process is for future deployments. You will going to have the Wireshark, and also you will going to have a PDF file. And that PDF file, if you open the PDF, that is because it's internally in that process. If you open the PDF, click on the PDF, my friend, please. You will find all the process that you need to follow in order to perform the lab setup by your own. Yeah, by your own. All the process that you need to follow in order to perform the lab setup by your own. The main characteristics. That means, Frank, if I have some issues during this session, in order to set up the lab, do I need to follow this process? Correct. Follow that process. Hey, I try to follow the process, but I'm not able to use the Wireshark. The Wireshark is having some issues. The Wireshark is having issues because it's referring to the release in 2020. This lab, guys, was a Cisco confidential in 2019, but right now in the new release is having conflicts with Wireshark. That's my recommendation, but don't worry, okay? Do not install Wireshark because it is not necessary. Please close the lab, close the file, and let's do the next thing. Okay, close it, open the virtual machine. When you click on open the virtual machine, right now, go to your downloads, go to your extracted folder, correct? And inside of your extracted folder, you will find the EVNG CXA V1. Click on that one and click open. And immediately an exporting process will going to happen. Do not change anything. Just click on import and wait. Just click on import and wait. If you modify the name, if you modify the folder, if you modify something, you will going to have some issues. The system is prepared or was designed in order to run in that specific folders. Is that okay? When you click on import the virtual machine, if you are following these steps, you're not going to have any problem. Not going to have any problem. The previous step. Okay, okay, Gautami, just give me 1 second. Let me do it for you again. Okay, let me do it for you again, and we're going to have the opportunity to practice again. In a couple of seconds, just wait until Vinit finish with the importing process, and Vinit, we're going to recap, and we're going to follow exactly the same process again. Is that okay? In order that everybody has the opportunity to verify what happened. We're not going to import it again because you already imported, but we're going to recap in order that everybody has the opportunity to verify what happened here. Perfect. After a couple of seconds, a new EVNG platform will be added. So recap, again, recap for the people who missing the first step. The first step was go to your downloads, or go to the folder that you downloaded first, if you remember. Do you remember? Go here. Perfect. Go into your downloads. You will find an EVNG folder, and we extract the folder. It's very important that you unzip the folder. When you unzip the folder, that is the process that Vinit did before. So double click on the EVNG folder in order to verify what is the content that we have. Internally, we're going to have an EVNG folder again, and internally on that EVNG folder, we're going to have 4 activities. We're going to have the EVNG CXA OVA file. If you can see type, they say OVA. Is that okay? OVA. This OVA file is the virtual machine. Then we're going to have something called install SD1. We don't want to use the SD1 because this is for future deployments. And then we're going to have the Wireshark, and we have a PDF file. The PDF file is the guide that you should follow if you want to install it by your own, or if you are having some issues. Is that okay? That PDF file teach you how to use the step-by-step, in order to set up the lab by your own. The important thing that to mention in this file is including the process to install the Wireshark. But unfortunately, in the new release that was made by Windows in August 2020, the Wireshark is having conflicts. This lab guide was designed in 2019. In 2018, the release, the Microsoft does not have some issues with the Hyper-V and these kind of things, but in the new release, we are having some issues with Wireshark, but really, you don't going to use it. It's not necessary that you use the Wireshark. Is that okay? So just please install the virtual machine and create the setup. What is this? This guy going to explain exactly the same thing that I'm doing for you, but step by step. Okay, perfect. So please, my friend Vinit, close that file. And here, when you import your virtual machine, right now, it is very important that you go, before playing the virtual machine, go to edit virtual machine settings. Excellent. When you go to virtual machine settings, click on processors. You are not able to modify anything if the virtual machine is running. And here, it's pretty important that we always verify that we have a check on virtualize Intel VT. Hey, Frank, I have some issues with the virtualize Intel VT. I'm going to show you the workaround at the end. Virtualizing Intel VT, because this is the expected one. This is how this virtual machine should run. Perfect. So the first thing, done. Beneath, perfect. We have the virtualized Intel VT, perfect. So right now, move to network adapter. Into the network adapter, by default, you have bridge. And sometimes the bridge do not works. The recommended process is go to custom. So in the right panel, instead of bridge, go to custom. Perfect. And in custom, select the one that said NAT, network address translation. Commonly is the VNet 8. So perfect. As soon as you select that one, click on OK. Click on OK. Fantastic. As soon as you have these 2 steps done and everything is correct, right now, play the virtual machine. And the virtual machine start playing. Don't worry about it. Just click on, do not show this hint again. Don't worry about it. Just click on, okay. They say, hey, we have a Linux version. Remind me later. We are not using Linux. We are using Windows. Click on OK. If you have a problem like that one, Neeraj Kapoor, yeah, like say virtualize is not supporting on this platform, you need to modify something in your system. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to share with you a couple of seconds. Okay, and Frank, which one to select in custom? The one that say NAT. Yeah, the one that say net, the one that say net. Okay, the one that say net, that one. Don't worry about it. We're going to verify what happened. If you have VTX, but Intel VT is disabled, I want to show you how to fix it in a couple of seconds. Okay, in a couple of seconds, I want to show you how to fix it. If you are not having issues like beneath, everything is fantastic and you get an IP address. So beneath, please open your Firefox. Guarantee that your VPN is not connected. The EVE-NG process do not work if you have a VPN. Is that okay? So at this moment, beneath, it's going to click on the AnyConnect, and the AnyConnect is disconnected. Click on your AnyConnect icon that you have in the bottom, and you can see it's disconnected the VPN. The VPN should remain disconnected. So please close it. And in your Firefox, right now, type the IP address that you get. That was 192.168, whatever. I don't remember the number. 192.168, 198, and 128. Click on enter. And voila! In a couple of seconds, I'm going to show you the workarounds for the common issues. Okay? Right now, click admin, and the password should be tropical21, everything in lower cases. Okay, Alaina, if you hit on that one, it's correct. Click remain in native console, and click sign in. Perfect, fantastic. This is the correct way. That's the correct way. If you follow that steps, it's commonly that you don't have some issues. Hey, Frank, I'm having some issues. Don't worry, I'm going to help you. We have time. Okay? The next hour, I'm going to use the next hour in order to troubleshoot. But let me finish with the explanation. Let me finish with this setup, because after a couple of seconds, if we remain having some issues, you are able to see the recording, because in the recording, you're going to verify what's going to happen. Is that okay? That's the thing that you're going to follow for me. Perfect, my friends. Okay. If you say admin and if it's working for me, that's correct, Alaina. Probably the virtual machine that you have, it is not mine. It's another one, but you have already an EVE-NG virtual environment. The important thing is that one. Is that okay? If you're using my virtual machine, it's always tropical21. It's always tropical21. Okay, first, please, beneath, let's go to add some devices. In order to create a folder, if you verify you are in the current position that says root. If you want to create a folder, please go to add a folder. Please add a folder whose name was test. Click on name, new name, and add test. Please go to the name system. There's a new name. Click on that one. Add the name. That should be test. Type test. Type. Use your keyboard and type test. That's the name of the folder. Test. Perfect. And click add folder. And a new folder with the name test should be added. But you are in the current position that say root. If you double click on the folder, right now, the current position changed into the top. Can you see right now? It's in the top, you changed for test. That means we are inside of the test folder. So if you click on root again, you go back to the previous page. If you double click on the folder, you are able to go inside of the folder. Is that okay? This is the way that you are able to manage your labs. Please double click on test, and internally in test, we're going to create a new lab. In order to create a new lab, we have this like black paper, the black paper sheet. So please click on that one, and a new window should be open. And they say, what is the name of the lab? Please use the name of the lab 1, for example. Lab 1. The version is necessary to be an integer. We always going to use 0 to 9. We are not able to use 1.0, 1.2, whatever. It's always an integer. The description, you are able to provide a description. For example, this is the first lab, and the task, this is the lab setup, whatever. It's just if you want to add some extra information. The important thing here is always use the author. In the author name, put your name because you are the owner of this lab. Is that okay? After you install the name and the author, right now you click on save. You click on save. Perfect, great description, lab demonstration. Then task, adding task, for example, add a router and a switch and connect them, for example. Add router and switch and connect them. A router and a switch. Hey Frank, I'm having some issues. Don't worry, I want to help you. But the important thing is right now we need to have a recording because if you have some issues, you are having 1 week to verify that recording and perform the setup. And if you remain having issues, just ping me and I'm going to help you. Is that okay? But right now we are thinking how to help them, how to help you, and how to help the most people, how to help most people. Is that okay? So please save it. Great, fantastic. When you save it, a new grid window will going to happen. This is your lab environment. This is the lab environment. This is the whole entire lab process. Is that okay? Here, in order to add a device, click on the plus symbol that you have on the left. This is your wizard. And when you scroll over the window, this panel expands and say, hey, we have different options. Click on add an object. And when you click on add an object, you want to select node. Perfect. And a new window will going to display all the possible options that you are able to use, but not all of them is available. Why? For security. Can you see right now? We are only having some available things. And here you're going to select that one, Cisco IOL. Please do not select Cisco VOS or VOS Layer 2. Always use Cisco IOL. The Cisco IOL is the operating system that we're going to use for our system. When you select number of nodes to add, here you are able to change the number of devices, and there's no limit. If you click right now, we're going to add 4. Please add 4. Change that one for a 4. Perfect. The important here, my friends, paying attention here. Hey, Frank, I'm lost. Don't worry. Paying attention here, and you see the recording. And if you are seeing the recording, you are able to do it by your own. Don't worry. We have a time. We have a limitation of time. The important thing, every single time that you want to install a router, you need to select a layer 3 image. If you can see, they say image layer 3. Start with L3. But we have 2 images, layer 3 and layer 2. For routers, we're going to install layer 3 image. Is that okay? And for switches, we're going to install layer 2 image. It doesn't matter if it's a multi-layer switch, because by default, every single time the switch starts with a layer 2 image. Hey, Frank, but this is a switch who has layer 3 capabilities. Should I install layer 2? Correct. It doesn't matter if it's layer 3 capabilities. Is that okay? Layer 3 is just for routers. Be careful. The name, change it by default is R, that means router. But my recommendation is put the name of router. If you type it router, that will be the name. Just router, please, my friend. Type router. Excellent. If you add router 1, that's going to happen something. Don't worry about the number. Just type router. Perfect. I'm going to show you what happened. The icon should be a router. You are able to change the router, the device icon. But here, my recommendation is remain with the icon of a router because you are adding routers. And we're going to add a switch later. Important thing, how many Ethernet interfaces? In EVE-NG, we don't have gig or fast Ethernet interfaces. We only have Ethernet interfaces. Ethernet is a very slow process, but don't worry, it's a simulation. The Ethernet interfaces that you are able to add here comes in something called port groups, like a line card. Every single port group has 4 Ethernet ports each. That means if you add 2, that means you are having 8 ports. Why 8, Frank? Because it's like adding a card, it's like adding a line card, it's like adding like a kind of disk, like a kind of information into the system, and that card has 4 Ethernet groups. So with 1 is enough. At this moment, 1. Important thing on the router, you are able to use serial links also to simulate WAN connectivities. So please add a serial one, add a serial port, add a serial one. Excellent. The startup configuration is always known because right now we are not having anything, but we have the opportunity to have an exported one, but later. Click on save and immediately you're going to create 4 routers and the system put a number for you. Immediately, router 1, router 2, router 3, and router 4. And every single router right now has some capabilities. Is that okay? This is the way that we're going to add routers. Now, let's start to adding switches. Go again, my friend, beneath to add an object, node. Click on Cisco IOL again. Cisco IOL again. Right now, we're going to add 2 switches. Select number of nodes. Click on 2. Perfect. Right now, change the image for a layer 2. Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. Change the name for switch right now instead of router. Switch. Excellent. It's not necessary to put a number, no, but you're going to discover something in a couple of seconds. And the icon, change the icon right now for a switch in order to have a visual activity in order to view that this is an icon. If you scroll down, you will find the icons related to a switch because it's in alphabetic order. Here, you have 2 switches. You have switch and you have switch layer 3. As soon as Cisco nowadays do not support any layer 2 switches, but the image is a layer 2 device, we can use the icon for a layer 3 switch. That's my recommendation. That means we're going to use a layer 2 image because it's the default application, but as soon as Cisco do not support any more layer 2 devices, yeah, all the devices that we have in Cisco are layer 3 supports. My recommendation is use the icon for switch layer 3. Use the icon for a switch layer 3. In that scenario, that means the switch has layer 3 capabilities. If you want to remain with only layer 2 capabilities, you can use the icon for a layer 2. Doesn't matter, but don't worry about it. We're never going to use anymore the icon for a layer 2 switch because Cisco do not have any more layer 2 devices. All the switches, all Cisco switches nowadays has layer 3 capabilities. All of them. All the 9K series is layer 3 capabilities. Is that okay? Click on save it. And right now you're going to add a new switch. The important thing on switches, the Ethernet ports. How many Ethernet ports? If you click, for example, in 3, that means this switch should have 12 Ethernet ports. Click, change it for, instead of 1, use a 3. Hey, Frank, what if I need more? Change it for 4. Serial ports. Switches do not support serial ports, so serial ports should remain in 0 always. Click on Save it. Excellent, my friends. Perfect. And right now we have the switches. Hey, Frank, but my switch remain with the numbers. Yeah, they continue with the numbers. They have right now switch 5 and switch 6. This is something that too many people do not like. I don't know, my friend Vinit, if you are connected to the energy or you are using your laptop in the battery process, but I think you are running out of battery. So my recommendation is plug into the energy. Okay, we don't want to have a failure here. Excellent. So in order to change the position, you have the opportunity to select all the devices and then drag and drop into any place of the blank space. Perfect. So please select all of them, just like a drag and drop. Excellent. You can use it one by one, or if you select all of them with a pointer, you are able to move a bunch of objects at the same time. In that way, for example. Perfect. Excellent, my friend. Can you see right now? It's so simple like that. Hey, Frank, I don't want that my switch has the switch 5 name. So you want to change the name for a device, you right-click on the device and click on Edit. And here they say name. Can you see they say switch 5? If you delete the 5 and change it, for example, for switch 1, right now, scroll down, and you're going to say save it, and save it. Right now, can you see you have the switch 1, and you can do exactly the same thing for the switch number 6, and this switch should be named like switch number 2, for example, if you prefer. Yeah, this is the way that I recommend to install your devices. Perfect. We almost finished. In order to connect a device, meanwhile the devices remain in color gray, that means you are able to modify. The device is stopped. It's like power off. It's like a real life device. Meanwhile, the device is power off, you are able to modify and connect it. You never connect something that is running. In order to connect this device, the thing that you need to do is go to the plug and play. Can you see when you scroll over the device, a new plug and play, like a socket window, appears. They say connect to another node. So please click on it and drag it to the device that you want to connect. So go to the switch 1 and drag it to the router 1. Please, Benit. Oh, click it and drag. It's click and drag. It's drag and drop. Yeah. Can you see? Like a new wire, like a new cable goes, and immediately a second window appears, and they say, when you want to connect, to which node. And if you can see, this is the source. They say the switch 1 is the source, and the destination is the router 1. And immediately by default, the system gives to you or provides to you the first available interfaces in both devices. So as soon as the first available interface in both devices is the Ethernet 00, you are able to you select that one by default. But if you want to change it, you click on the arrow that's going down into the right panel, correct? And you can see all the interfaces that you have into the system. Can you see right now? The interfaces Ethernet into the system goes from Ethernet 0, Ethernet 01, Ethernet 02, Ethernet 03, and then change it for Ethernet 10. Why 1 and then 2? Because we have port groups, four port groups each. So the first line card is the 0, the second line card is the 1, and the third line card is the 2. That's why we have this. The interface number 00, the interface 10, 11, 12, and the interface 20 to 1, whatever, because it's like having different port groups. Can you see right now? This is the way that works. At this moment, please remain with the interface Ethernet 0 in the switch. Go to the router, my friend. Into the router, as soon as we have serial interfaces in the router, you're going to discover that we have Ethernet flagged with a letter E, and the serial ones is flagged with a letter S. But we are not able to connect Ethernet with serial. Ethernet goes with Ethernet, and serial goes with serial. Is that correct? Can you see right now? If you go to the fourth line, you can see S10. That means this is the serial interfaces. We're going to connect first the Ethernet, and then we're going to connect serials. Perfect. So as soon as we're going to have both with the Ethernet 00 in both ends, click on save. And what's going to happen? The line color changed from red to blue. And that means right now you have a connection. If you move or drag and drop in the whole entire page, your router 1, move it please, you're never going to disconnect from the switch. Can you see right now? Because that's guaranteed that you are connected. That guarantee a connection. If you please drag a little bit to the left, the switch, the router 1, and the router, please, the router. To the left, that's perfect. In order to create a blank space between the router 1 and the router number 2, because I want to demonstrate what's the difference between the Ethernet and serial ones. So go to the router right now, my friend. Perfect. Go to router 1 and do exactly the same thing, but right now going to the router number 2. Excellent. Immediately the router select A. The next available interface should be the Ethernet 01. And as soon as in the router 2, we have the Ethernet 00 available, that's why it's selecting the first one. But you can leave the session in that way, or you are able to change it. For example, if you select in the router 2, go to the Ethernet 01. Yeah. Right now you are telling to the system, do not plug on the first one, plug into the second one. Click on save, and immediately a connection will be created. Can you see right now? And exactly the same thing that previously happened. So right now we have the opportunity. It's not necessary that you connect the Ethernet 00s with Ethernet 00s, Ethernet 01 with Ethernet 01. So many times we do it in that way in order to manage, in order to have a management process. Perfect. That's the way that we're going to do it. Right now, my friends, right now here. Go again to the router 1, my friend. Or go to router 2 and go and send it to router 1. It doesn't matter which one. That's correct. Connect to router 1. Router 2 to router 1 again. I want to demonstrate something. Okay. At this moment, for example, my friends, if we pay attention here, immediately the router number 2 said, hey, as soon as you have the interface Ethernet 00 available, by default, the system tries to tell you that use that interface because it's available, but it's not mandatory that you use it. And as soon as the router 1, we have another, the next available is the Ethernet 02, immediately goes to the Ethernet 02. Can you see right now? That's an important thing. But right now, instead of using the Ethernet, we're going to use the serials. So please go to the router 1 and select the interface serial 10. Okay? Do exactly the same thing on the other router. And verify and show the difference. Click on save it. When you use Ethernet interfaces, the line color is blue. And in order to make a quick difference between the Ethernet and serials, the serial lines color is changed to yellow. Is that okay? That's really important. That's really important. Great. Fantastic. Can you see right now? It's pretty easy. That's the important thing. Okay, Frank, we are able to connect the rest of the devices? Yes, you are able to connect the rest of the devices, but right now we're going to continue with the next process. My recommendation is using always Firefox. This is how you're going to connect. Later, we're going to remain connecting these devices, okay? Later, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Right now here, right now here, because we need to finish with this setup in order to demonstrate everything. Right now here, my friends, the important thing that's going to happen at this moment, when you connect all your lab, in order to interact with the device, we need a hyper terminal. We can use secure CRT, we can use PuTTY, we can use TeraTerm, we can use, it doesn't matter which one, okay? Hey, Frank, do I not see my serial interface? Okay, Ria, why you don't see it? If you don't see the serial interface, that means probably in your router do not exist a serial interface card, do not exist a serial interface card. Please, in order to verify that your router has a serial interface, beneath, please, click on the router 2, right-click on router 2, and click on Edit. This is the way that you're going to verify you have serial or not. In the serial port groups, you should select 1. If you have 0, that means that's why you don't have serial interfaces. But here, can you see beneath, select 1 serial port group in order to add a serial interface. In order to add a serial interface. That's why. Okay, Rija? That's probably the reason why you are not having some devices. Okay, beneath, click on Save It. And thank you so much. Okay, let's continue with the next process and the last thing before we continue with the step of with the demo and what we're going to do in the lab activity. This session is to set up the lab. Okay, my friends, here, pretty important. Okay, when your device is in color gray, that means the device is not running, the device is not working. In order to make that device available, you need to right-click on it and click on Start. Right-click and click on Start, please. And immediately the device changes the color from gray to blue. When the device changes the color from blue, that means it's an operational device. This is something similar like you plug into the energy and the device right now is running. The device initialize. You are able to do one by one, but sometimes when you have a great topology, when you have big topologies, it's kind of complicated to go one by one. So you are able to modify or you are able to run all the devices at the same time. If you go to the left panel, and into the left panel, you're going to find a small square with 9 small squares on it that say more actions, something like a Rubik's Cube. That's correct, more actions. And if you click on more actions, you're going to find something that says Start All Nodes. Click on Start All Nodes, and the Start All Nodes, we're going to initialize all the devices that you have on the grid, all of them, okay? All of them. It doesn't matter if the device is connected or not. Great, fantastic. But the problem here is we don't have a hyperterminal. We don't have a link. We don't have a tool to interact with the device. So my recommendation, you can use either. You can use whatever you feel more comfortable with. The important thing here is we're going to use something easier, that is PuTTY. So here, my friend, open a new window in your web browser. Hey, Frank, I already have another one. Use that one. Doesn't matter which one. But I'm going to show you how to use PuTTY. Okay, open a new window, please, my friend. That's not going to happen anything, not going to affect your lab. Click on PuTTY. Find it, P-U-T-T-Y, perfect. Click on it, and immediately they say download PuTTY. This is a free SSH and telnet client for Windows. Click on download PuTTY. Go to the first link that says you can download PuTTY for here. Click on that one. And here you're going to find the 64 bits. That is the second link that says PuTTY 64 bits installer MSI. Click on that one. And immediately downloading start. And it's at 2.7 megs. It's very short. It's a very short link. Click on save it. Hey Frank, what happened if I already have secure CRT? What will happen if I already have used it? It doesn't matter which one. Please install it. The PuTTY installed is not require a restart of your computer, so don't worry. Just click on install it. Remember, this is a professional tool. It's not like the packet tracer. Just click on next. Yeah, click on next. My recommendation here, they say, would you like to add a shortcut to put it in your desktop? Display the arrow. Yeah, click on the arrow and select all of them. Yeah, entire feature will be installed on your local drive. Perfect. In order to install everything, click on install. Wait a couple of seconds. Finish. Yeah, just uncheck that one. It's just the README file. It's just the license and this kind of thing. Click on finish. Perfect. Okay, close that window, my friend. Close that window. This is why I prefer to use Firefox to this setup. Okay, now in order to apply the teleclient without creating the sessions one by one, Firefox gives us the opportunity to match the application with the system. So double click on router 1 or any of the devices, but I prefer to use router 1. Double click on it. And here, immediately, they say found a banner and they say choose application. Select choose application. It's not necessary that check the box. Just go to choose application. Perfect. And here they say which application you want to use and select choose. We need to match the application, finding the application folder. The application folder is in your local disk. It's in your disk PC. If you click on this PC, then you go to local disk C, open it. You're going to find program files. And in program files, you need to scroll down and find the folder that is called PuTTY. That's correct. Double click on it and use the third icon from the bottom to the top that says PuTTY. The third one, that one. Excellent. And click open. And now, give a check when they say always use this application to open telnet links. And click open link. And after a couple of seconds, a black window should appear in your system. Hey, Frank, but it's not happening anything. Just click enter. And immediately when you click enter on the black window, a system interacts and say, this is the very beginning. This is like you open a router for the first time and say, would you like to enter to the initial configuration dialog? You can say yes, or you can say no. If you remember, the answer is always no. Click on no. Enter. Would you like to terminate the auto install? The answer is always yes. If you click no, type no in order to demonstrate something. And click enter, the system say, my friend, I need it, so I'm going to install it. It doesn't matter if you want it or not. So because this is like a real device. After a couple of seconds, the device install everything. And when you click enter again, you will get the prompt in the user exec mode for a router. Right now, you have a router. If you click on the switch, double click on the switch, my friend. Doesn't matter if that's going to happen. Just click cancel over there. Cancel. Oh yes, cancel. Double click on the switch, please. Let me verify what happened here. Okay, right now give a check and allow to use HTTP to open telnet links. Open link. And the PuTTY should open immediately the system. Just click on enter and immediately you will get the prompt for a switch. Can you see right now? So simple like that. This is the first step. This is how we're going to set up our system for today. Is that okay? So simple like that. So Vinit, congratulations, my friend. Thank you for your help. This is the way that we're going to install our system from the scratch, from the very beginning. That's all you need to know. Hey, Frank, I'm having issues. If you're having issues, right now, I'm going to use some minutes to validate that issues, to verify what is the issue that you are having. My friends, if you follow these steps and right now you are able to connect to a virtual lab, you have this connection to the virtual lab, you already have that virtual lab like Vinit, Yeah. I want to show you, I want to teach you what is the next process, what we're going to do next. This is the process that we're going to follow next, okay? Please raise your hand in order to guarantee that you already have access to something similar like that, okay? Hey, Frank, thank you, thank you, my friends. Many of you already. I feel so happy because right now many of you already have access to a lab environment. I don't request red crosses. I don't request this process. People who's having issues right now, I'm going to help them. I'm going to help them. Okay, I'm going to help them today in a couple of seconds. Don't worry. Okay. The important thing here is, hey Frank, do I have the opportunity to follow again the video and verify step by step what I need to do? Correct. That's why I did it in that way since the very beginning. That's why I'm not performing installation in my computer, because my computer already had installed it. That's why I use someone else's computer in order to install that process. Right? Fantastic. Okay. Vinit, thank you so much. That's the only thing that I need at this moment for you, my friend. The next thing I'm going to explain with my lab, with my device. Okay? I'm going to stop. I'm going to remove the role of presenter right now beneath. I'm going to send it back. Okay. Okay. Prashad. Okay, beneath. You're taking the role of host. Could you please give me the role of host to me? I don't know what happened here. Or Prashad, could you please give me the role of host?
Hey,
and
we
make me
need
the presenter.
has the access.
Yeah, it's
I'm
kind
not
of
able
weird
to.
why he. Yeah, it's kind of weird why he played the role of host, because he's just a panelist. But
Do you mind sharing the host access with Frank?
okay, let me see. Could you please go to the? Could you please give me the role of host? Just click on my name.
Can I know how to do that?
Right here is a name role, and there is a drop down over there, and then there is a make host.
Okay, but I need the host key. Do you have the host key? Well, please share it with me into
see
the.
that?
Okay.
No? Like, can you please repeat that?
Okay, Prashad, could you please share the host key with me in private using the Teams?
Give me a second, Frank.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Hello, Prashad, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Hello, my friends.
Frank, I can hear you.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, my friends, can you hear me? Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I don't know why Prashad cannot hear me. Yeah, perfect. Everybody can hear me. Okay, right now Prashad at least is the host. Prashad, could you please give the role of host to me, or the role of presenter? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Right now. Okay, Vinith, thank you so much for all your support, my friend. I'm going to change the role for attendee again. Thank you so much. Right now we have a recorded process here. We have a video, and we're going to continue the recording. But right now I'm going to share my screen, because the thing that I'm going to happen here is the next one. Hey, Frank, I'm having some issues with my virtualized Intel. Don't worry, I'm going to show you that process. But it's very important right now that you learn how to collect your configurations, how to save it, because in order to be evaluated, you need to share your configs with me. Is that okay? You're going to share your configs with me. How are you going to share it? You're going to send to me an email. Is that okay? You're going to send to me with me an email. How you're going to collect that information? So please follow the recording process, but we're going to continue, we're going to remain sending information here. Okay, let me share my video. Let me share my configuration, share it. Okay. Perfect. Oh my God, I'm sharing the incorrect screen. Is that one? Okay, perfect. Right now, you can see my screen. We remain the recording. Right now, we have this information here. Hey, Frank, I'm having some issues. Don't worry, I'm going to help you in a couple of seconds. But first, I need to finish with this process. I'm having some issues with the virtualized Intel VT. I have a plan B. Don't worry about the virtualization about the VT. We're going to use the plan B in a couple of seconds. Okay, but right now I see a lot of raised hands, more than 50, more than 60 raised hands. That's a very great number because that means many of you already have access to the lab. Okay, what's going to happen on the lab? Yes, of course, I can zoom into the diagram a little bit. Okay, let me explain. During the lab activity that we're going to have the next week, you will have a lab topology. Which is the lab topology that we're going to use? I'm going to share with you the lab topology one day before. But in order that you have the opportunity to practice with a real life lab topology, this is exactly the same lab topology that we're going to use later. Please download the next lab topology in order to practice, okay? Let me share with you the link. We have a lab topology that is called exports. We already have your lab topology, Lab Challenge, Bangalore, okay? But I'm going to test it with this activity now. Let me copy the link, copy, okay? I'm going to share the link with you in order that everybody, to all attendees, everybody is able to download the lab topology. Please download the lab topology. I'm sending to you the link, similar link that I used previously for export the EVNG. Okay, so right now I'm exporting the lab topology. This is just a demo. It's just a demo. Okay, please click on that link and download the lab topology. The lab topology is a very small file, so probably you're going to spend seconds downloading the file. If I download it here, and I click on, and I click it here, right now they say download. Let me download it here. Let me download. Can you see right now? Immediately download the file. It's so quick. It's so quick. I'm going to click on OK, and my system already downloaded. It's a very small file. It's a very small file. OK, perfect. Let me open my folder, and I'm going to show you that we have already an export lab topology set. So simple. This lab is not necessary that you extract it. No. One day before your lab activity, I will share using an email. I'm going to send to you the lab topology that you're going to use for your activity. What you need to do? You need to open your EVNG, and you will click here where say import. Let me make it a little bit bigger in order that everybody has the opportunity to see it. I'm going to click on import. And when I click on import, I will find the exported lab. Here is my, and without unzip, with the zipped file, I'm going to click on it and I click on open. And immediately my lab will be loaded here in the top, export. And they say, where is the size? It doesn't matter if the size is similar to 0 bytes because it's very small. And by the end, you will find actions upload. When you click on upload, the progress of uploading happens fast and the status change to success. And in the left panel, you will find a new lab. If you click on it, a lab topology already created should appear. The lab topology author is Frank, this guy, and you click on open, and this is the lab topology that we're going to use for practice in order to test. Is that okay? This is something similar like the lab topology that you should have on your lab challenge, something similar. Did I explain correctly? Yeah, if I explain correctly that process, my friends, give me a green check. Give me a green check onto the participants. If you are not able to use the green check, just raise your hand. But if you have like a kind of magnifier, boss magnifier here there, and you click on that, you're probably going to find some icons. That's correct, B2C. That's correct, the green check like that. If you raise your hand, is that correct? That's correct. I'm going to repeat it again. Don't worry, I don't need to repeat it because we are recording that. You are able to see the recording later, but I'm going to repeat it for you again. Again, let me remove. This is the process that we have to follow if you want to remove a lab. You click on the lab. You click on the lab that you want to remove. Yeah. And then you say, you click on the trash. I imported and I gave upload to this file, but the file is not visible as a new lab. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. That no should happen. I don't have anything right now. I don't have anything. The thing that I did, for example, I have a lot of files right now. I'm going to use this one that say PMO. I have a file that say lab 1. This is just for testing. How are we going to import? Here, they say import. When you click on import, you will find your lab. You will find a lab that I already exported. It's a zip file. You select the zip file. It's not necessary that you extract the document. No, it's a zip one. Click on open, and immediately the file should load on the top. But you need to move to the right and click on upload. When you click on upload, a progress of uploading happens, and you change the status to success. And the result of that uploading process is a new lab is created here. And when you select the new lab and click on open, you will get a new topology. This is the process that we're going to follow. Next activity, yeah. This is the process that we're going to follow. This is the process that we're going to follow. Okay, it's kind of weird. It's kind of difficult for me. But if I'm doing something incorrect, please correct me. Is Gayatri? Is that correct? Gayatri or Gayatri? Okay. If it's okay, if you share your screen so quickly with me, Gayatri, in order to verify what is the problem. Let me stop sharing. Let me verify. It's kind of weird that you are not able to export it. Let me give to you the role of panelist. Let me verify if you are able to share your screen with us. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me find you. I cannot find you. For some reason, I cannot find you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, I've already found you. Okay. Please, could you, Gayatri, could you please share your screen with us? Excellent, my friend. Perfect. This is the link that you download. It's kind of weird because that's not the name of my lab. Okay, could you please go to the, could you please go to the, could you please go to the link that I already shared with you? Okay, do not extract. Okay, that's the reason why. Just click on download. Sports lab topology, is that one? Yeah. Okay. Verify. Excellent. Save the file. Okay, I don't know where it's located. I'm assuming in your downloads. Go to the EVNG. Go to import, please. Excellent. Okay, go to downloads. Select this. Select the one that say lab topology. That's correct. That's my lab. I don't know where you get the export lab, export test lab, whatever. This is probably something that you previously have, and that's the incorrect lab. Select the export lab topology. That's my lab. That's correct. You click on upload, and there is it. Can you see right now? Hey, Frank, what the previous lab is not exported because probably someone exported incorrect, someone did something incorrect. That's why it's not working, because that's not my lab. I don't know where you get that lab, but it's not mine. Mine is exports the underscore lab topology. That's mine. The export unit lab, whatever, it's not mine. Okay? Yeah, Jeffrey. Fantastic, my friend. Let's go back to the presentation. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Okay, Vinit, they say I'm not getting the open option. Okay, Vinit, can you please share your screen with me? Let me help you. What happened here? It's kind of weird, Vinit. Okay, Vinit. Okay, my friend, could you please share your screen with me? Okay, I'm not getting the open option. Which option? Oh, just click on it. Click on it, select it, scroll down, and there is you're going to find the open. Perfect. That's all. Fantastic, Vinit. Okay, my friends. Okay, my friends. Okay. Let me remain sending my information. Can you see right now? This is the way. So what's going to happen? One day before your lab activity, I will share with you, I'm going to send to you an email. In that email, you will find the zip lab, the zip activity, and you need to import into your EVNG in order that tomorrow you will have the opportunity to do the lab activity. Is that okay? Perfect. Okay. I'm going to make a quick demo. This is the demo. This is the reason why. This is the important thing. So please, my friends here, pay attention. That's the important thing. Imagine that we have this lab activity. Okay? We're going to select here more actions. I'm going to start all nodes. I'm going to show you here for you what is the activity, what is the thing that we're going to do. It's pretty important, that one. This is really important. This is really important. My friends, if you did something incorrect here, you're going to fail the milestone. Is that okay? You're going to fail. It's very important that you pay attention here. Imagine, okay? You're going to have a lab activity. I'm going to do a demo for you. This is the demo. This is the demo. We are having just 1 hour, so I need to do the demo right now. Or maybe we have less than an hour. I don't remember. I need to pay attention and to verify what happened here. Just give me 1 second, 1 second. We have 1 hour. Yeah, we have 1 hour left, so I need to hurry up here. That's why we are recording this session. Okay. Imagine how the lab guide is built, how the process is built. This is just a demo. During that day, during that activity, you will have access to a lab guide. Only you will have access to that lab guide during the lab activity. The lab guide is a protected file, and the protected file will have your Cisco ID. So do not try to extract information. If you extract information, it's pretty easy to detect who is the guy who is extracting the information because they have a watermark with your Cisco ID. And if we detect that you are extracting information, probably, my friends, the consequences are really, really bad. Is that okay? Do not try to extract information in any kind of way for that lab guide. The lab guide is only available during the lab execution, during the lab process. After that, you are not able to remain seeing the lab activity. Is that okay? Remain seeing the lab session. Be careful here. Be careful here. Be careful here. Important, my friends, important. I'm going to show you one lab activity. Lab guides. Example. Let me see if that one or not. If it's this one or not. No, I think it's not that one. No, it's not that one. Lab guide. This is the old. For example, here. This is just a demo. This is not a lab guide that you're going to have, but this is a demo. This is something similar. I'm going to explain what happened here. I'm going to explain what happened here. Okay, imagine here. Imagine here. This lab challenge name is called Prison Break. The lab challenge that you want to take should be different. This is just for identify. The page number one is the most important page because into the page you will find the pod number, and the pod number is required. Some activities say, hey, change that X. You want to find, for example, a letter X. Let me show you here. Let me show you here, for example. Oh, that one not going to help. Let me open another one because this is another lab challenge. Let me open another one. Maybe that one should be more similar. This one. This is an older one, but that should be more realistic, more similar to the newest one. That's correct. For example, here, this activity is called the Walking Dead. Okay, your activity should be different. Remember, the page one is the most important because in the page one, you will find the pod number. The pod number is a number that you will need in the future. Is that okay? For example, here, you're going to have the activity. This is an activity that is necessary to complete in 4 hours. Your lab should not be 4 hours, should be 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's all. Is that okay? It's a shorter lab. Recommended things. You will save your configuration frequently, and you need to earn a total amount of points in order to pass the activity, okay? How many points? I don't know how many, but should be posted on the lab description. Is that okay? Then you're going to interact with some switches and some routers. You don't going to have too many team members. It's only you. It's an individual lab activity. This activity was designed in order that we have four people into the system. This activity is completely different. The activity that you want to do is designed for just one. You are not going to interact with real devices, so ignore that table. Ignore this table because you are interacting with virtualized devices. And instead of having the 10.88. whatever IP address, you will have your own IP address. Here, what is the IP address that you should have? I don't know. Should be 192.168. something. Is that okay? This is the IP address that you will have. Then you're going to have the diagram, the network diagram. The network diagram is similar to this one, is similar to that one. This is a similar activity that we're going to do. That's why I'm sharing to you this lab activity in order that you are trying to start playing with this activity and become familiar with this with this lab topology in order that you move faster on your lab. But well, this is something similar. For example, here they say, in this scenario, imagine that you say, configure the next IP address in all switch management interface as follows. Use the Cisco switch default management VLAN. What is the default management VLAN, my friends? Okay, so if I open the switch one, here, my device is loading. Hey, Frank, this is your PuTTY. Yeah, this is my PuTTY, but it's already modified in order that I have the opportunity to train better. Yeah, to teach better. That's why we have a bigger letter, we have a different screen, that kind of thing, but don't worry about it. The important thing is not that one. Imagine, so the switch, the first task here. Task number one, they say, configure a host name on all switches and routers according to the table. This is the switch one, so they say switch one. The name of switch one should be Sophia switch one. Okay, so enable, configure terminal, host name, Sophia switch one. That's my new name, and that name match with the requested information here. Can you see right now? Please do not change the name. Remember, this is a simulation that you are troubleshooting and configuring a client's network. You are not configuring your network. You are configuring my network. And Frank as a client, Frank as a customer is a very picky customer. So please pay attention to details. Pay attention to details. That's my recommendation. If here they say Sophia with capital S, you should have capital S. If you have lowercase, the system, when you match the system information, the system going to say, no, do not match, and you will fail the milestone. That's correct? Be careful here. It's very important here. Sophia, switch one. You need to answer some questions. Maybe yes, maybe not. Probably yes, probably not. Step number 4, they say, configure IP address on all switches management interface as follows. Use the Cisco switch default management VLAN. Oh, what is a default management VLAN, my friends? Do you remember? Give me the answer on the chat. Give me the answer on the chat. Give me the answer on the chat. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect, team. Should be the VLAN 1. Should be the VLAN 1. So in this scenario, I need to go interface VLAN 1. Interface VLAN 1. Remember, by default, the interface VLAN 1 is shut down. Not shut down. I need to enable it. And they say, first, you're going to use the first subnetting to the network 10.1.1.0. Probably one of these numbers, yeah, instead of having a 1, should have a letter X. And they say, where the X means the port number indicated on the first page. Because probably one of you in your lab guide should have the port number 1, some others have the port number 10, Some other have the port number 250. Can you see? So the port number is really important because each one of you going to have a different port number. In this scenario, as soon as the demo, I select the port 1, and that's why this number 1 is equal, is the same. But please be careful with the path number. The path number is really important. Is that okay, my friends? So that's why, hey, Frank, so that means if I try to copy this information, or if I try to, you cannot guarantee which is the IP address because this is a random number. Is that okay? So the port number is individual. The port number should be individual. The port number should be a random number and should happen in that moment. Is that okay? So use the first subnetting of the network, whatever. If I'm going to use the first subnet for that network, where I need to allocate a maximum of 14 hosts, that means, hey, Frank, 14 hosts. That means you have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You have 8 bits. And you know that these bits represent 128, 164, 32, 16. Oh my God, I need to use 14 hosts. So I need to have a new slash here. I need to change this that was /24 by default. I'm going to create a subnet in order to get right now an /25, 26, 27, 28. But I need to use the second. Well, they say the first subnet. So don't worry, it's the first one. Okay, so the IP address that I have the opportunity to use here should be, for example, IP address 10.1.1.1 because it's part of the first subnet, but the network must change to 255, 255, 255 in order to allocate 14 hosts, 240, 240. Can you see? 240. So they say, indicate which IP address you are using. Oh, in the switch 1, I'm going to use the 10.1, for example. But I need to set up exactly the same thing for the switch number 2, for the switch number 3, and for the switch number 4. Can you see right now? We continue. They say, Telnet must be enabled on every device to support up to 16 users at the same time and being able to connect directly to the privilege mode using the password Cisco. My God, how I'm going to resolve that issue? What I need to do? I need to move to the switch number 1, for example. Yeah, I need to go to the switch number 1 here, for example, and I'm going to do line VT1 from 0 to 16, or from 0 to 15. But unfortunately, this device do not support the 15 lines. So the maximum number that I'm going to use is 4. Let me show you a little bit. Exit. Remember, this is just a demo. This is a lab guide that is do not match with this activity, but this is something similar that you're going to have on your activity. And I'm going to show you line BT1 from 0 to 4. Why 4, Frank? Because this device, the maximum number of lines that you support is 4, but in a real device, you support a maximum of 16, that should be 15. But here I cannot use a 15. They say you have an error, you have a mistake, because this device does not support. So I'm going to protect all of them. Don't worry about it. Line BTY 0 to 4. They say Telnet must be enabled. Transport input, Telnet. Perfect. But you need to connect directly to the privilege mode. Oh, privilege 15. Sorry, I'm missing the word level. 15. Using the password Cisco. Okay. Password Cisco. And I need the word login. I know it. This is part of my configuration. It doesn't matter if I put it everything correct. If I not use the word login, there's no way that I'm connected. If I'm completely sure that right now my configuration is fantastic, I can use the word do shall run. I can verify that I have already my line BTY, my privilege level 15, my password Cisco, my login process. I support the Telnet incoming sessions. Yeah, I already have the name into my device. Can you see right now? I already have the name on my device, host name Sophia switch 1, and I'm able to test it. How I'm going to test it? Well, you suppose that you also install information on the switch number 2. I'm going to do it for you just for testing. I'm going to do it just for testing. Is that correct? I'm going to open here my switch number 2. Let me open the switch number 2 just for testing, just to demonstrate. Enable, configure terminal, host name, switch 2, just for testing. I need the interface VLAN because that's the important thing. 1, IP address, 10.1.1.2, for example, here, 255.255.240. No shutdown. Wait for a couple of seconds, and everything, if everything is correct, when I use the word telnet, and I try telnet to the 10.1.1.1, that is the switch number 1, when I try to telnet this device, they say, give me a password, and the password should be Cisco. While security, you cannot see it. But if I type it correctly, when I click enter, I go directly to the privilege mode in Sophia switch 1. So that means that's a guarantee that my previous task, I completed correctly. Did I explain correctly that process? This is the way, this is something similar that you're going to do. This is something similar that's going to happen during that day, during the demo day, during the testing date. Is that correct? If I explain correctly in that process, give me a raised hand. Give me a raised hand. Excellent, my friends. Can you see right now? Pretty easy, pretty easy. The important thing here is, okay, pay attention to the restrictions, pay attention to details. That's the important thing. Let's continue having this information. Let's continue working here. Then they say, for example, step number 6, use a secure password for enable. Be careful. They say secure. I remember from my bootcamp, I remember from my teaching process, from my learning process, that we are able to protect the access to the enable process. We have something called enable password. Configure terminal. Enable password. But enable password was not secure. Oh, but we have something called enable secret. And the enable secret should be Cisco. Be careful with the extra spaces. Be careful with that process, because if you have an extra space, you're going to fail because that's not going to match. Enable secret Cisco. Enter. Hey Frank, does my password works? That password will work. Do show run. Here is my secret password. Can you see? It's a secure password. Can you see? And they say, test it and exit. And next time when I click on enable, the system should request a password, Cisco. Oh, fantastic. I set up the step number 6 and everything is working. The system say all other passwords should be encrypted. That's correct. Show run. If you pay attention here, we have a password that is Cisco, and the password is in clear text format. When we have the secure password here, it's already encrypted. But how are we going to encrypt all other passwords into the system? Give me the answer on the chat. Give me the answer on the chat. What is the command that I need to use? Configure terminal. How are we going to encrypt all other passwords into the system? Correct, Divinia. Correct, my friends. That's why we need to use something called service password encryption. When you use the service password encryption, that password that previously was on clear text format, to show run, is encrypted right now. Can you see right now? So simple like that. At the end, they say you should be able to telnet from switch 1 to switch 2, switch 3, and switch 4 from every single switch. This is something similar that's going to happen. This is something similar that's going to happen. Here, for example, they say right now, configure VLAN according to the following table. Okay. So I need to create the VLAN 100, 200, 300, and 400. Okay. So VLAN 100, name, and the name is zombie. Zombie. Oh my God, here. Zombie. Capitals and lower cases. I need to create the VLAN 200. Is that okay? VLAN 200. And the name should be CDC. If I use the word right now, exit here, and I apply the command do show VLAN, I can see my new VLAN database, and the VLAN database will match with the VLAN request, with the database requested here into the system. Did I explain correctly? This is almost the process that you want to follow. This is a quick explanation, and you need to complete a whole entire bunch of tasks. You're going to do a lot of tasks, maybe a lot of subnetting, maybe a lot of routing, inter-VLAN routing. Probably you're going to use BTP, probably you're going to use per VLAN spanning tree, ether channels, port security, so you are able to demonstrate a lot of things. That's the important thing. When you finish, they say, okay, when you finish the lab, you must help us for the next zombie apocalypse. You must erase the entire desktop config and devices. This is not applied for you. Here you're going to have a lot of things. Another description. Okay. What's going to happen when you finish with your activity? Okay. When you finish with your activity, this is the end of your activity. When I say time is over, my friends, time is over, and you start to work, oh my God, I finish or I not finish, I don't know. This is up to you. You need to time. You need to manage. You need to time. You need to manage your time during this activity. The important thing, my friends, here. Can you see? You need to analyze first the task, and then you verify what is the command that you need to use in order to solve it, in order to solve the question. That's so simple like that. Okay. Pay attention to the details. That's all. What's going to happen at the end? When you finish, when I say, okay, team, time is over. Pay attention here. That's why I'm recording this session. That's why I'm recording that one, because this is the last thing that you need to do. Is that okay? They say, the last command. When I say time is over, my friends, when the time is over, you are not able to remain seeing the lab guy. The lab guy will going to block immediately. What's going to happen next? You need to collect and send to me your information. You have a lot of devices. I don't know how many, but you want to collect information for each one of your devices. Example, the last command, save your configurations. Copy, running config to the startup config. Hey, Frank, do I have the opportunity to save my configurations during my configuration process? Correct. It's not necessary that you save it at the end. My recommendation is save your configurations frequently. But the last command that you want to do is save your configurations. Is that okay? Save your configurations. Correct. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you what I need to do, what you're going to do next. Okay. When you finish, you want to apply a bunch of commands in order to collect some information. The first command, and the most important one, you're going to apply the command show run. Is that okay? And the show running config has more. So you need to type the spacebar so many times because people, I don't know why people always send to me the information incomplete so many times until you find the end. And when you find the end, select and copy From the show running config, you select copy. Okay. And you want to put that information, you want to test that information into a text file. You want to create a text file. You want to open a notepad. You want to open a notepad. You want to paste it. Can you see right now? You select the command, you select show run. You want to select and copy that information in a text file, correct? And after you select and copy, you want to save it, file, save as. And this is, for example, very important here, my friends, very important here. This is my configuration, Frank, switch 1. That's very important for me. You're going to use your name and your device number with a hyphen. This is the way that I need it. So the recording twice. Your name, if my name is beneath, I'm going to type beneath hyphen switch 1, all in capitals, all in capital letters. This is how the system requires. And save it. That's all. If you have a switch number 2, when you open the switch number 2, you're going to do exactly the same thing for the switch number 2. Show run, for example. Guarantee that you collect everything. Select this whole entire show running config. Here. Copy and put it in a text file. Paste it. And this is the configuration that belongs to the switch number 2. So what you're going to do, you save as, put it in a place in the desktop, whatever, use your name again in capitals, Frank, use a hyphen, but right now, this is the configuration for the switch number 2. You're going to create as many files, separate as many files as devices you have in your topology. For example, my friends, in this topology, we have 8 devices, routers and switches. Hey, Frank, what happens if I have a computer? Do I need to create a text file? Yes, create a text file from your computer. Is that correct? If you are not able to create a text file for one device, just raise your hand and I want to help you. But the important thing is, at least I need routers and switches information. All routers and switches information. If you have 4 routers, I need 4 routers link. And if you have 4 switches, I need 4 switches files. Did I explain correctly that process? So in this scenario, in this topology, give me the answer on the chat. How many text files you need to create for me? How many? Put the answer on the chat. Perfect. Perfect. So fantastic. I can guarantee right now that everybody understands what is the process, and I explained correctly that process for you. Did I explain correctly that process? Excellent. So, okay, Frank, fantastic. Okay, Frank, fantastic. So you're going to create the files, correct? But not only you will going to share the files with me, not only that process. Let me tell you something else. Why I need the text files? The text files that I needed is in order that if something happens during your lab process, do you remember what happened previously with one of your classmates, that when that guy tried to export the lab and the lab do not work, correct? This is the way that I'm going to evaluate your information using the text files. That's the backup file. Okay. The last thing that I need from you. If you want it, and if you are able to do it, do it. When you finish to create all your text files, the next process that you're going to follow is here. You will go to more actions and you will going to click on export all configs. The export configs, the export all configs will going to give you a log. They say switch 1, everything should be exported. But sometimes the exported fail. Why the exported fail? I'm going to teach you why. When you try to export a device and the configuration fail, is because you are not into the privilege mode. In order to export all the configurations, no, yes, it is necessary that you guarantee that your device is in privilege mode. Let me show you. Do you remember that we have a failure in the router 1? I'm going to show you how right now how the router 1 do not fail. Okay, this is router 1. And here is the user mode. What I need to do? Enable. When I'm in the privilege mode and I click here on export configs, can you see right now they have a green check? They say perfect, fantastic. So it's very important. When you click on more actions and click on export all configs, it is necessary that you guarantee, right now you're going to verify that router 1 should have a green check here because router 1 right now is in privilege mode. Can you see it right now? Router 3 failed, router 2 failed, router 4 failed, but router 1 do not fail because router 1 is in privilege. Is that okay? Very important. After you click on export all configs, you're going to select this bold. They say set notes to a startup config to exported one. And you click on that bold. There's going to happen here another notification that say, perfect. Everything is fantastic. What's going to happen? If you want to validate that you did this process correct, if you go to a startup configs, your devices, all devices should change to blue. And when you click on it, you can see the text file. You can see everything. You can see all your configuration. Can you see right now? This is the way that you guarantee. Correct, Goli. This is necessary to be done for all devices. Is that okay, my friends? Is that okay? Follow this process, follow this process. This is the way that you're going to guarantee that your export configuration is fantastic, that you create a perfect lab and your lab is protected. Hey, Frank, what happened with router 2, router 3, and router 4? As soon as they fail, I don't have configuration. Why they fail? Because we are not in the privilege mode. Do you remember? It's always necessary. When everything is fantastic, right now you are able to see the configuration that you have in your device. That's the word. That's it. That's how it works. What happened next? Just to finish. When you finish exporting this process, when you already validate that you have your startup configuration, you are able to go to more actions and stop all the devices. This is the last section. You will going to have 30 minutes to complete that process. And Frank, 30 minutes is a lot of time. Believe me, it's a lot of time. And when your device when your lab is completely stopped, you will going to close it. What do you need to do next? You're going to select it and you're going to click right now in export. Export. Okay, Frank. So when you click on export, a new file, a new zip file will be created. But the important thing, when you did, it's not necessary that I repeat anything. You have the recording. Is that okay? You have the recording. But here, I want to do it again for you in a couple of times. Again, don't worry. But don't worry, you have the recording. Here, they say, save it. And you're going to export it. Can you see right now? Export UNILAB. This is my exports. And you will send to me by email your text files, plus your exported lab. It's necessary that you send it to me in order that you will be evaluated, my friends. Here, let me show you this process. When I receive your email, this is my email, this is my system, okay? I'm going to get an email similar like this one. Let me show you. For example, this one. This is an email, and the email should be similar like this one. We have the Kevin, the device number, can you see? And the exported lab. For you, I request everything in capitals with only router 1, switch 1, whatever. This is something similar. And internally, if I open this text file, I can see all the show running config. Can you see right now? Everybody who has the opportunity to train or to take these activities, these lab activities, will send it in that way. Why? Because we're going to upload it into a system, and the system compares your results and provides to you a value. They say your task number, your result is, and gives to you the results. Is that okay? So simple like that. So simple like that. Perfect. Yeah, I can zoom it. I can zoom in. This is, for example, a real life scenario. This is, for example, a real life scenario. If I go to Daniel, they have, for example, exactly the same thing. If I go to Sophia, they're going to find Sophia's information, Lab Sophia. Can you see right now? Yeah, the naming convention of the file, I already did it for you, my friends. I told you. What is the name convention? Your name in capitals, the hyphen, and then your device number, switch 1. Your name in capitals, the hyphen, and your device number. That's the process that we're going to follow. And when you exported that one, so you're going to create a document here, for example. You want to open an email. In your email, you're going to add these two files. You're going to open the files, and you also need to include your exported file. What is my exported file? Here I have it into my downloads. I have the exported one. Can you see? And you will going to send that information to Frank. My email, I'm going to put in my email here. I'm going to put in my email on the chat for everybody. Please collect my email, frank13@cisco.com. Okay, you have my email right now. frank13@cisco.com. Can you figure out? That's my email. You will send that information to me. I'm going to receive your email. I'm going to upload your information into a platform, and the platform is going to provide a score for you. So simple like that. You will going to have the score in the or you will going to have the result for your lab activity during the week. Okay, during the week. Did I explain correctly that process? What we need to do? Yeah. Hey Frank, I'm having issues with my VMware. I'm having issues. Don't worry. Ping me after this session, and I'm going to help you to solve it. The important thing is everybody should be prepared to next week. Is that okay? But see the recording, because that's very important, this process. Okay, in order to demonstrate that everything is fantastic. In order to demonstrate that everything is fantastic. In order to demonstrate that everything is fantastic. When I go back here, I want to remove this one. I want to delete it. I already deleted here. Can you see right now? there's not my testing lab anymore, but I exported one. So when I click on import and I go to my export unit lab, can you see right now? The previous one that I shared with you was without information, but right now this lab has information. And you see, I already put it. I'm going to click it and open it. And when I open the lab, if I open the switch number 1, for example, and click on start the device, the previous lab, the lab file that I will share with you is without information. The lab guide, the lab file that you will send it to me is with information. When I click on the lab, when I open the lab, and I click enter, immediately the system say, this is Sophia's switch. Why? Because you export your configurations, because you save your configurations, and when I click enable, the password should be Cisco, and if I have the opportunity to enter, you will be evaluated. Did I explain? Excellent. Can you please share some test files? Okay, all the files that I have in order to do the lab activities are protected files. Those are protected files. So that's why I cannot share it. But we're going to have similar activities. We're going to have some activities similar like the lab activities that you did in your system, or that you have the opportunity to try in your bootcamp. Okay, let me provide for you some extra lab activities, some extra lab scenarios, some extra lab information, and that scenario should be important, or you are able to try it before this lab activity in order to practice. Is that okay? Let me share to you some information. Can you see right now? This is an important thing. So at the end of this activity, so what's going to happen? You will going to do the lab. You're going to have 2 hours and 30 minutes. After 2 hours and 30 minutes, the lab will going to block. They say you are not able to continue. What is the next thing that you need to do? Create the text files, save your configurations, export your configuration, verify that you exported fine, and export your lab. Create an email with your text files and with your exported lab, and send it to Frank. And that's all. That is how we're going to work. Okay. Will all the commands here automatically get saved or any more action to do? All the commands that you enter will be saved. Meanwhile, for example, if you say show run, you will get the show run. You go to more until the end and copy and paste it. Everything. When you go to more actions here and you click on export all configs, everything that you have in your running config should be saved. Everything. Okay? Yes, you're going to collect some. I'm going to give you a list of commands that you need to collect on your text files. Don't worry. I'm going to provide that information at the end of the lab activity. At the end of the lab activity, we're going to have something similar like this. Let me show this presentation so quickly. This is the thing that's going to happen during that date, during that specific date. Example here. Oh my God. This is a live milestone WebEx etiquette. So my recommendations: find an ideal space to focus and learn. Please have your webcams on during the lab time. If you have problems with your bandwidth, don't worry. This is not mandatory. Okay? Correct. Don't worry. The first lab is focused on layer 2 activities. So please, for the first lab that we're going to have next week, focus on layer 2 protocols. VLANs, trunks, Ether channel, port security, VTP, is that okay? Subnetting and security. That's the important thing. What's going to happen? That's the main areas that we're going to cover during the next lab activity. Okay, the audio is connected and muted all the time unless you noted otherwise. If you have any questions or technical difficulties, please kindly raise your hand and you will going to receive a private call from Frank to the management or the management team via WebEx Teams. So if you, hey Frank, I have some issue, could you please help me? Just ping me using Teams and I'm going to call you back, okay? If you have any specific questions and you don't consider necessary to have a call, you can use the chat panel to clarify any of your doubts. Communication between participants is not allowed. That was updated on February 21st, 2021. Is that correct? So this is plenty updated. Commands that you would need to collect at the end. At the end, I'm going to say, okay, please collect the next commands for the router and please collect the next commands for the switches. Is that okay? Probably you say, hey, Frank, but I don't have anything for the standby. Don't worry. This is the commands that I need to collect because the platform evaluates using all this information. So that's why we need to collect all that commands. Is that okay? But that's the thing that's going to happen at the end of the lab activity. Okay. Very good. Very good. Perfect. Now. Yeah, you want to enter all the commands at the end. I don't need all your historical things. If you, hey Frank, I sent to you since the very beginning. Immediately, if you send to me everything since the very beginning, you're going to fail the milestone. I tell you right now, you're going to fail the milestone. Why? Because when I put it into the system to evaluate, the system only evaluates the results, do not evaluate the process. Is that okay? Just the results. At the end, when you finish, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to say, hey, okay, guys, stop. Now, the next 15 minutes is to collect your commands. Which commands do I need to collect, Frank? That ones, and I put it on the screen, and you're going to say, okay, show running config, show VLAN brief, show a port security, I don't know, all the commands that I need in order to evaluate in your platform. Is that okay? When you finish, I'm going to say, okay, export your lab. And you are able to click on. When you're going to export your lab, you need to click on, again, remember, more actions. This is a process. Export all configs first. Verify. Then more actions. Set nodes to a startup config to export it. And that's all. And if you want to validate that everything is correct, you can verify when you say startup configs and your devices should have a startup config there. That's just to validate. Is that okay? After you save it and validate, go to more actions, stop all nodes. I'm doing it for the second time for you. Close the lab, select the lab, and export it. Create the zip file and put it into the email with the 8 text files that you want to send to Frank, and that's all. Is that okay? And you will going to have 30 more minutes after you finish with the lab to complete this activity. So simple like that. So simple like that. Just like that. Just that process. That's all. That's all. Did I explain correctly? Okay. If I explain correctly this process, remember, you are able to see the recording again. You can see the recording again in order to verify if you have anything, any problem, and test it, and test it, and test it, and test it. Okay. People who is having some issues. People who is having some issues with, people who is having some issues. Correct, Gordy. We're going to have 2 hours and 30 minutes to the whole entire lab, and then you will going to have 30 extra minutes to save your work. Perfect. So by the end, you have a 3 hours activity. That's all. Excellent, excellent. That's correct, Gordy. Correct. Excellent, excellent question. So simple like that. Okay, my friends. Okay. Now, I know that some people is having issues. I know that some people is having issues with if there are two commands to be run at the end, or how should the text file look like? Just copy and paste, and after the other. Correct. Just copy and paste one after the other. Excellent. 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 It works in that way. For example, here. Just copy and paste. That's the only thing that I need. For example, here, if I open, let me open switch 2 here. For example, I have switch 2 maybe here. Oh, okay, I already closed my lab. That's why it's not working. Okay. But well, if you're going to collect everything, let me show to you a text file. Let me show you, for example, a whole entire text file for one of the students. For example, Sophia here. You can see Sophia's, this is one of the demo. Sophia say, okay, this is the host name. This is all the running config, yeah? And then immediately, give me the show IP interface brief, and here is the show IP interface brief. Give me the show IP route, and here is the show IP route. Give me the show IP protocols, and here is the show IP protocol. So one by one. But this is all the information that belongs to the first router, to the router 1, for example. Is that okay? This is the explanation. This is the explanation. Okay. Let's going to fix this process. Now, I know that some of you is having some issues with the Intel VT. Sometimes, so after entering all the commands, they show run right. Correct, that's correct. The show running config, then the other one, then the other one, then the other one, that's all. That's the only thing that I need, okay? Okay, my friends, before we finish, because we only have 6 minutes, people who is having issues, please, if you are having some issues with, the VT, please, instead of using the VT, instead of using VMware, go to Oracle VirtualBox. Go to Oracle VM VirtualBox and download the VirtualBox 6.1. If you are having issues with the virtualized Intel VT, if you are not having issues with that one, do it with VMware, because Oracle VirtualBox consumes little more resources, but fix that problem. Download VirtualBox. Is that okay? Download it, VirtualBox. When you download VirtualBox, VirtualBox is more graphical, that's why it consumes more resources. You're going to open something similar like that. Okay, beneath. I told you, I cannot share some text, test files because those files are protected. But in a couple of seconds, I'm going to show you where you can find some similar resources in order to practice. Just give me 1 second. People who is having issues with the virtualized VT, you have the opportunity to use VirtualBox. And in VirtualBox, the only thing that you need to do is import again your virtual machine. Yeah, you are able to import here when you say file, import virtual machines, yeah, or open a virtual machines, and use VirtualBox instead of VMware. People who is having issues with the virtualized Intel VT. But if VirtualBox not work for some reason, the thing that you need to do is this thing. That's the thing that you need to do. If you go to YouTube, let me open YouTube here. You can find a tutorial here. You can find a tutorial here. How to fix virtualize, I don't remember. What is the issue that I have? Virtualized Intel VT not supported on this platform. And here, you're going to find this a 10 minutes video is that one. Is this one. How to enable virtualization in BIOS here. Sometimes your computer needs to enable the virtualization process using the BIOS. So please, let me share with you this video. Let me share with you this video. And if you follow that tutorial, it's a 10 minutes tutorial, 5 minutes tutorial, you are able to fix it. You are able to fix it. Is that correct? People who are having issues, fix it, the issues in that way. Fix the issues in that way. And if you remain having issues with the VT, ping me. And we're going to have the opportunity to verify how to solve it, how to fix it. Please, you are 180 people. It's kind of difficult to support all of you at the same time. Yeah, people who is not having issues and right now is working perfectly, and you are able to help your classmates. Help your classmates. If you want to try to solve it by your own, solve it by your own. Is that okay? Those videos I recommended in order to enable how to enable the virtualized Intel VT. You have two options: use or try to open with Oracle VirtualBox, just download it and install it, or try to do it with with this video. Try to open with this video. Try to use this video. Here you're going to find some other tutorials. For example, here what happened with the Hyper-V power failed because it's disabled solution, or what going to do. What happened if I receive the next. This video is going to help you a lot to understand what is the process to enable the virtualization technology. Is that okay? If for some reason after you have that videos and your computer is not working, just ping me and I will try to fix your issues. Did I explain correctly? My friends, that's my friends, you have options. You have VirtualBox, you have the video in order to virtualize Intel VT. And the last thing that I recommend, if for some reason you remain having some problems, probably we need to talk in private in order to verify what will be the option. What will be the option? Yeah, because for example, if you have a release similar like this one, I'm going to show you what happened here with my release. Oh, this is Frank. Sorry about it. Where is that file? Where is that file? You suppose that I have a file. Suppose that I have a file here. Oh my God, I don't find it. Let me show that file. I don't know where is that file. I suppose that I have it. Okay, well, what is the syllabus? All layer 2 CCNA activities. All layer 2 CCNA activities. We're going to, again, I'm going to tell it for you. We're going to review subnetting. We're going to review the first section of secure process. We're going to have per VLAN spanning tree, ether channel, VLANs and trunks. We're going to have router on a stick. We're going to select, we're going to have port security. And layer 3, we're going to review some IP addressing scheme and static routing. That's the syllabus. That's the syllabus. And I'm telling to you a lot of things. It's suppose that you are right now a master of the CCNA and you have a complete domain for all the CCNA topics. Is that okay? But that's the syllabus. This activity is focused on layer 2 activities. I face the same issue of virtualization. I check the virtual processor sending and I'm working and this right away. Meanwhile, it's working. That's correct. Right. Perfect. Swapnil. Perfect, Swapnil. Excellent. If you uncheck it and works, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. In some computers, my recommendation is also verify the next process. You can use here. Open your, one of the things that you also have the opportunity to validate is open your command prompt, type optional features. Optional features, no, additional. What is, it's not what, it's optional features, but I type it, probably I type something incorrect. Optional, that's correct. It's optional features. And when you open your optional features, some computers it's necessary that has selected here to have a check on the Hyper-V. Is that okay? Put a check on the Hyper-V if you are having some issues with your Hyper-V. Yeah. Perfect. If you are using VirtualBox and work it, perfect. The important thing is open. That's why I told you at the end, I'm going to fix the issues because it's most easier for me at the end. And if you remain having some problems, just ping me. But right now, more than the 50% of you already have access to the EVNG. Okay. Just to finish this activity. Because I need to move and attend another meeting right now. Just give me one extra second. Just give me 1 second. Let me talk with Jessica a little bit. Just give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I need to solve something right now. Because I prefer to share all this information with you, my friends. Okay, if VirtualBox works for you, fantastic. Okay, one important thing. Okay, let me verify something here. Okay. Prashad, I'm going to give to you the role of host at this moment, just to avoid any kind of conflict. Please, just to avoid any kind of conflict, because for some reason, if my network fails or my internet fails right now, you remain with the session open and I rejoin again, okay? Let me tell you something. Okay, my friends, I'm going to show you this process. It will remain recording. Cisco, as soon as you are a Cisco employee, you have a lot of resources. Probably many of you already use it, but if not, I'm going to show you how to use it and how to practice before this activity. Is that okay? Here, in order to open this activity, it's necessary that you are connected to your VPN. Remember, in order to run the EVNG, the VPN should be disconnected. Let me authenticate myself here in order to connect to my VPN. And I'm going to provide to you, I'm going to show to you some extra resources. As soon as I'm not able to share with you a testing file or something because it's a protected information and you only will have access to that protected information during the lab activity, I'm going to give to you some extra resources. So please, authenticate in your VPN. Right now, probably my network we're going to have a flapping. Meanwhile, I'm getting into this process. But please, as soon right now looks like I'm connected right now. So my friends, okay, Satish, you want to at the end? I'm going to provide a list of all the commands that you need to collect in a PDF format. Don't worry, That's going to happen at the end. Very good. It's not just the show running config. You're going to have a list, but don't worry about it. Okay. When you connect to your VPN, Cisco, as a Cisco employee, you have access to some resources. We have the Learning Internal Offer, and the Learning Internal Offer provide access to whole entire CCNA training with the whole entire lab activities. Yeah. So let me share with you this link because you're going to need it. The only thing that you need to do is authenticate yourself into the link, and immediately you will going to have access to the whole entire CCNA training with the whole entire labs, and you are able to do it so many times as you need. Perfect. This is a Cisco confidential information, but let me provide this information to you, okay? I want to share this link using the chat panel. So please keep that chat panel, keep this link in your favorite ones. Collect that link. When you open here, this link, you are not going to have access only to the CCNA. You also will have access to all this training, even to DevNet training. That is the newest one. DevNet is already here. Yeah, and it's the whole entire DevNet, complete DevNet information. With the labs, with everything. When you click on CCNA, immediately the system will going to filter the CCNA training. And when you click on it, you click on launch, wait for a couple of seconds. After a couple of seconds, your Cisco ID image should appear here. In a couple of seconds, you can see the image of Frank there. They say, hey, hello, my friend here. It's Frank here, yeah, that's the guy. And you're going to load all the whole entire training. This is the official learning platform. I know that probably many of you use it already, yeah, but so many of you probably say, hey, Frank, I don't know that I have access to that process. Well, if you don't know it right now, you know it. If you already use it, practice. If you click on this top left arrow, you can see the table of content. And into the table of content, you can see all the introduction to host, introduction to the operating system. You can see everything, the whole entire bootcamp, the official training. In that scenario, my friends, if you start learning and you finish and you take the final assessments, you are able to gain a medal. And every single time that you earn the gold medal, that you are earning points. And that points should be necessary for your recertification program, because nowadays it's possible that you recertify your own using just earning points. That's an amazing thing. If you go back to the full menu, here you're going to have something called lab listing. And into the lab listing, you have 36 different lab activities in order to practice every single topic. Hey, do I need to practice IPv4 static routing? Configure VLANs and trunks. Okay. Troubleshoot VLANs and trunks. I'm going to do the troubleshoot VLANs and trunks. You click on initialize the lab. You need to wait a couple of seconds. It's taking a while. Probably 1 or 2 minutes. And after that, And after a couple of minutes, it's taking a while always. Let me see. I suppose that it should be fast, but not so fast. Sometimes take between 2 or 3 minutes. Some other times take a little bit more. Yeah. But here, when the device initializes or when you load your lab, immediately you're going to have access to a lab device. You will have access to this device. And now with EVE-NG, you are able to copy the topology, replicate the topology, add the switches, add the routers, and test it. For example, hey, what I need to do if I want to practice more. So you are able to take it here or export the configuration, put it into the EVE-NG, and try into the EVE-NG. That's why I provide to you a lab environment, and I provide some extra resources. And if you have some doubts, for example, here with the theoretical part, you are able to verify which is the option or study the lab process again. Is that okay? Also, you have the opportunity to take these labs so many times. There's no restriction. How many times? There's no restriction. Just clear it and test it. Just clear it and test it. One of the things that I can do for you, if you want it, is I can share some packet tracer challenge. I can share some packet tracer challenge, but it's not exactly the same experience. But if you want it, if you need it, if you consider necessary, I can share some packet tracer files for you. Just ping me or let me share with Prashad. And if you want it, Prashad probably is able to resend the lab challenges for you. Okay.
Sure.
I have four or two. I kind of four lab activities. So probably if I use these 4 activities, I will share it with Prashad, and Prashad will be able to propagate or will be able to share that challenges for you in order that you have a similar experience. They're going to have the lab guide. They need to practice, but in that scenario, you must have a packet tracer, because right now packet tracer is protecting their files. You should be a packet tracer student. If you are not a packet tracer student, it's kind of complicated, but I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it because probably it will be helping. It will be a tool that probably help in your career. I don't know why it's taking a while. Let me try another one. Let me try another one. Let me try the first one. Maybe it's most easier. Let me close it. I don't know why it's taking a while. Always when I try to use this one, it's taking a while because it's consuming a lot of my resources, but probably have some restriction. As an instructor, I have some access to some other things, but at the same time, I have some problems accessing to other things because it's supposed that I have this work as an instructor, not as a student. But don't worry, for you should be most easier. Please go to that web resource, and in that web resource, you are able to practice and try your lab activities. Also, I will share with Prashad some extra lab challenges made with Packet Tracer in order that you are able to practice and test your configurations. My friends, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this session. We're going to stop the recording right now. We're going to stop the recording. I'm going to stop sharing here. And also, well,